stupid. Because it is stupid. Look at the Constitution. Perry has a right to do what he did. So, for those who may not have heard the show yesterday, I do have Rick Perry's initial statement, which took him a little bit to come out and say something. He has some of his advisors, like his general counsel, released a statement hours before he did. In fact, the general counsel's statement came out at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and Perry didn't make his statement until like 8 or 9. But here you go with Rick Perry in his own words. Well, I apologize. Evidently, we can only have so much Rick Perry, and he spoke yesterday, so we're not going to get him today. Anyway, you can go. I have the video is up on BuzzPro. It's a couple days old, but you can go ahead and look for the article. And if you're listening to the podcast, if you go to yesterday's podcasts, it's already linked in there, so you can go and listen to the podcast, or actually go to the story and read the story with the write-up. What that has further statements, including statements from the general counsel as well as Senator Cruz, and there have been several others since, to include people on the left side of the aisle who have come out in favor of Governor Perry on this. So that speaks volumes. And there's, I think it's Steve Ale has the other side of the aisle coming to Perry's defense on this particular issue. If you go ahead and read through that story over at BuzzPro, also came out over the weekend. But we're going to go back and remember that little clip I just played with Eleanor Norton talking about you don't have a right to know what your government is doing in a separation of powers government. Well, let's going to shed a little bit of light here. Of course, because Congress is in recess, that means some representatives are back in their districts, and some of them are back there campaigning, and one of them back there campaigning is, of course, Houston's beloved Congresswoman Sheila Jackson. They put a flag on Mars Lee. This woman, first of all, how they keep electing her. Either the people are electing her because she's dumber than they are, or maybe the schools in that area of Houston are just that bad. Of course, she's not even from Houston originally. But this woman is D-U-M-B. And she makes Eleanor Norton's statement look highly erudite. Anyway, here's a statement that somebody typed up for Sheila Jackson. How can I tell that somebody else typed it up? Well, it's spelled correctly, and the grammar is not completely atrocious. But anyway, the statement put up on the Facebook post is, well, these are her words, supposedly. Houston's 5th Ward is home to both former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan and Congresswoman Mickey Leland, and residents of this neighborhood as well-informed on how to protect their neighborhood and property. Open Carry does nothing to stem violence and protect the lives of citizens. It is a lonely issue looking for a family. Our community is not the family for this rally or message. They should join the neighborhoods for a rally to promote improved health care, create better jobs and higher wages, and provide quality schools. Otherwise, the rally should never happen. Okay. I've got my own response to Representative Jackson Moon Unit Lee's statement there. But and I'm going to give you that, folks. But I also have Open Carry Texas's Texas's president and founder, C.J. Grisham, Master Sergeant C.J. Grisham. I have his type response. But I want to bring you back a little bit and kind of let you know, well, I'll bring it back after I give my statement. Representative Jackson Lee. Let's think about what you said here for a few seconds. First of all, health care isn't in the Constitution. The right to own and carry firearms or weapons is. Creating better jobs. You want to create better jobs? Tell your thugs to get off the street and stop doing crimes and get their butts in school and learn something other than how to, kill a mo frappy like it ain't no thing. It ain't cool. You know what's cool? An engineering degree. You want better health care in that neighborhood? You know what's cool? A medical degree. Put butt in chair, open ears, open eyes, closed mouth, except to ask an intelligent question. Learn how to read and write in proper English. Take notes. Study. Study hard. Study harder. Work hard. Work your butt off. Join the military to pay for college. Heck, if you're going for that medical degree, go to college on an ROTC scholarship, and if you do it right, the military will pick up a good chunk of medical school. You'll just have to do medicine for the military for a while. You don't necessarily even have to join. You can be a civilian who works off that bill during your internship and your residency. I've seen people do it. It's a good program, and the military can use more medical help. Especially even though the wars are winding down or we're pulling out prematurely, whatever your point of view is. Mine is we've pulled out prematurely. But doctors who've seen that kind of need for medical care, done those kind of operations and services for our uniformed members, by and large, when they go back to their communities, they're going to improve them. And here's something else. The doctors that are raised from the Fifth Ward, they get raised and they start making their money. Most of them are not dumb enough to live there anymore. They've built their way out. They've learned that upward mobility does exist. They've found a higher quality of life, and they're not going to live there. Now, some of them may open up offices there, sure. Of course, then again, you open a doctor's office in Fifth Ward, Houston, you have to worry about some drug thug breaking into your office and stealing your samples of temazepam, or pick your controlled substance and stealing it and selling it on the street. Heck, Viagra gets sold illegally all the time too. So that's why they may not be opening their offices there. You ever think about that? It's because of the crime. Well, how do you bring down crime? Well, police, their job is to investigate the crimes or attempt to respond to a crime in progress, but they don't always make it in time. So more likely than not, they're taking statements and investigating crimes that have already occurred. So how do you prevent the crimes in the first place? Well, that's an individual responsibility. So I don't know where the heck your brain is, Representative, but it sure the heck is not in your head. And it sure the heck is not engaged in common sense. Because if it was engaged in common sense, you'd be calling for your constituents, those who don't have felony records, that is, to be supportive of open carry. Because then the criminals will be less likely to be keeping those neighborhoods down. Jackson Lee, you have once again opened your mouth and removed all doubt that you are a complete idiot. And so other people vote for you, for that matter, unless they're just sly
and know that if they put a idiot in as their representative, you're easier to control. Which would be pretty smart when you think about it. You put a dumb person in there and that can't think, and gives you somebody that you can control so that they actually do their job and represent the people, because they don't know what to think for themselves because they can't. Well, we don't know if Representative Lee can think for herself or not, because the only thing we know is she can't think. Well, there's my 2 cents on Sheila Jackson Lee and her little statement here. Now, what brought this all about is C.J. Grisham went down and he met up with the local organizers for the local chapter of Open Carry Texas, as well as some other open carry advocate, Second Amendment advocate groups in the Houston area. And they were looking to organize one of their peaceful demonstrations, their parades, walks, and rallies in the Fifth Ward area. And when going down and talking about what they were proposing and where they're bringing in there, a group, trying to remember the exact name, I want to say it's like QZ or something like that, but they're kind of racially motivated. Let's be honest, they're kind of like a Black Panthers type of organization. They showed up there, armed to the teeth. Their members carrying at port arms AR-15s, fully loaded. Now, as long as they're not pointing it at Bunny, and they're carrying it according to the law, who cares? They're doing what they're legally allowed to do. But just to give a contrast to it, the members of Open Carry Texas were not openly carrying when they were down there for that event. And if some were concealed carrying, they may have been. You can't tell. They were doing so very well. C.J. Grisham's concealed carry permit or concealed handgun license is currently suspended pending the appeal of his trumped up BS monkey kangaroo court that happened over in Temple, Texas, due to the altercation that started the whole open carry call anyway. So let's listen to some of CJ's answers. Now, it's kind of difficult to hear the questions, but you can at least hear his answers of when he went down for that initial meeting to coordinate to do this rally. This rally was supposed to take place last Saturday, but it's been postponed with the date to be announced because, as CJ has informed me, they're trying to get actual members of the community to come out more in force, people that actually live in the Fifth Ward, to really put the Fifth Ward's own face on the rally. But let's listen to what CJ had to say when he was asked some questions.
Exercise their right to keep and bear arms, and we're trying to unite communities and get everyone to combat the criminal problems here in Texas by arming themselves peacefully and lawfully. Location's right here at the corner of Lockwood and Lyons.
That's going to be the only location.
That's going to be the only location. Yes, sir.
Are you carrying that day?
Yes, we will be carrying lawfully. Carrying.
How many do you have here?
That's hard to say. About 75 to 100.
Wow. Why so many in Fifth Ward?
That's just all the people that there are people from Houston. There are people from around the state. We just want to show support for the community.
Large number?
Oh, that's all our events typically get pretty big when there's media involved. Our events range from 10 people to 1,200 people. This just happens to be a big event.
Do you have any concerns about having something like this in our area?
I don't think we're going to have any concerns because I trust the people of Fifth Ward to be as peaceful as we're going to be. We're not coming here to start a confrontation. We don't want to have a fight. We're just here to exercise our rights and encourage the members of Fifth Ward to also legally exercise their rights.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
And if anybody's actually been to an OCT rally, usually anybody causing trouble at those is somebody who's not a member of Open Carry Texas or Come and Take It Texas or any of the Second Amendment advocate groups. It's usually some agitator from outside. And usually the members of OCT are pointing and laughing at their idiocy. But CJ has his own commentary for Representative Jackson Lee's stupidity. And there's no other way to put it. And I'm going to read word for word what C.J. Grisham has for his written response to Miss Sheila Jackson Lee's foot and mouth comments. And here's what C.J. had to say. I'm sorry, Ms. Jackson, but you are speaking from a position of ignorance. Ms. Jackson, studies show that the presence of a firearm is a deterrent to 92% of crimes. See Gary Kleck. Think about it, just on a practical basis. Why don't people commit many crimes in the presence of police? It isn't just the uniform. It isn't the badge. It isn't their nifty flashlights or warlike tactics or their walkie-talkies. It's their openly carried gun. It sounds to me like Ms. Jackson doesn't trust her constituents to be able to lawfully carry a handgun, something we're fighting to protect. Chicago is the murder capital of the nation. Strong gun controls. Fifth Ward is the crime capital of Houston. Ms. Jackson doesn't want law-abiding citizens armed. Ms. Jackson, if your citizens don't want to carry AR-15s, why did your friend Quinell X and the new Black Panthers show up with them at our meeting? Guns aren't the problem. Bad people are. Open Carry Texas. I'm the president and founder of the organization. Interjection here by I'm the president. We're referring, of course, to C.J. Grisham, not to me. Has held over 2,000 events across the state without a single shot fired or crime occurring. Our goal is not to have to carry AR-15s in the future, as we'd like to open carry handguns instead. We are not an improved health care or create better jobs or provide quality schools organization. We are a gun rights organization. Where were you, Ms. Jackson, as the schools were getting closed in Fifth Ward? I don't live there. You do. I don't represent Fifth Ward. You do. What have you done to lower the crime rate in Fifth Ward that is 3 times higher than Greater Houston? I didn't oversee that. You did. What have you done to educate the Fifth Ward community about lawful possession of firearms to protect one's family and home? Nothing. Instead, you've stigmatized and used straw man arguments to inculcate fear in the community. Or another interjection here. I'm betting Miss Jackson Lee is pointing to a staff member and saying, pull out a dictionary and tell me what inculcate means. She probably has to look up community too. Anyway, back to CJ's words. We have hosted concealed handgun classes at free or greatly reduced costs for women, domestic violence victims, rape victims, and the elderly. We have provided free handguns to the population as well. What have you done, Miss Jackson? Nothing. We have collected food, picked up trash, cleaned cemeteries, fed the homeless, and many other projects around the state. Open Carry Texas is a Texan organization. We are not white. We are not black. We are not Hispanic. We are not any other manufactured division you want to create. We are Texans and we are Americans. As such, we have a right to demonstrate, walk, protest, and lawfully exercise our rights anywhere in this country, including Fifth Ward, to educate the public about open carry, gun rights, and the safe and legal possession of firearms. You will not take away that right, no matter how many press releases you issue. You are not your subjects. We are united. This isn't a racial issue. This is a rights issue. Just as you wouldn't like anyone telling members of the Fifth Ward community they aren't welcome in a so-called white community, I won't let you tell me or my members that we're not welcome in a so-called black community.